China did not create the Snow Leopard Commando Unit out of pride alone,
granting birth and power to the Snow Leopard Commando Unit. Not from pride, but from fear.
At the start of the 2000s, violent riots and deadly bombings shook Xinjiang, a region already filled with tension. Ordinary Chinese citizens lived in fear, and Beijing feared something even greater: that unrest could spread and weaken the government's grip on its western frontier. At the same time, another pressure loomed. The 2008 Beijing Olympics were just years away. The eyes of the entire world would soon turn toward China. What if terrorists struck during the games? What if a bomb went off in front of billions watching on live television? That single moment could destroy Beijing's dream of being seen as a modern, stable power. But there was also an international fear. China looked at the United States with its Navy SEALs, Russia with its Spetsnaz, and Britain with its SAS. These nations had forces capable of striking swiftly anywhere in the world. China had soldiers, yes, but no single unit that could stand equal with the best. Beijing's leaders decided that had to change. They needed an elite unit of their own, a group trained to protect national pride, crush threats before they grew, and send a message to rivals abroad. China would not be an easy target. From those fears and ambitions, a new unit was born: the Snow Leopard Commando Unit. Silent, deadly, and designed to protect not just China's people, but China's image itself. Why the snow leopard? Out of all animals, why choose this rare cat as the unit's name? Because the snow leopard is a creature few ever see. It lives high in the mountains, survives in brutal conditions, and when it strikes, it does so with total silence and lethal force. To Beijing, the snow leopard represented exactly what they wanted this unit to be: rare, silent, and unstoppable. The name wasn't just about inspiration, it was psychological warfare. Soldiers were told that they were predators, watching from the shadows, unseen until the final second. Their official mission was clear: protect Beijing, defend national events, and eliminate terrorist threats. But unofficially, the mission was bigger. The snow leopards were to become a symbol of China's modern power, a force that proved the nation could match the elite units of the West. Every member of the snow leopards knew one thing from day one: they were not just fighters, they were guardians of China's pride. Their failures would not be personal, they would be national embarrassments. Success wasn't just survival. Success meant China itself stood taller in the eyes of the world. From the first day, training for the snow leopards was made to break men down. Hundreds applied, only a handful survived. Recruits were forced to run for miles carrying loads heavier than their own bodies. They crawled through frozen mud, stayed underwater until their vision blurred, and marched for days with no sleep. Some fainted, some quit. Only those who endured every trial remained. The philosophy was simple. On real missions, snow leopards might face hijacked buses, bombs hidden in markets, or hostages strapped with explosives. In those moments, hesitation could mean death. To survive, a snow leopard must remain calm in pain, think clearly in chaos, and act faster than fear itself. That is why training was cruel. It wasn't about strength alone. It was about finding men who could suffer, stay sharp, and keep moving when everything in their body told them to stop. For China, this brutality created not just tough soldiers, but warriors conditioned to obey without hesitation. Fighters ready to face terror with steady hands. Most armies train for open fields and deserts, but the snow leopards train for cities, because that is where their enemies hide. They study how to storm a hijacked bus in seconds, how to clear airports filled with panicked travelers, and how to raid apartments without alerting neighbors. Every move is rehearsed again and again until it is second nature. In these drills, one team blocks exits, another secures stairwells, while snipers cover from hidden rooftops. Explosives experts sweep for traps. Negotiators prepare for talks, while assault teams prepare for violence. Why this focus on the city? Because China's leaders knew future enemies would strike where civilians gathered: airports, train stations, shopping malls. Chaos in these places spreads like wildfire, threatening lives and national image. The snow leopard's job was to bring order out of that chaos, fast, silent, and with precision so sharp it left no room for failure. The 2008 Beijing Olympics were not just a sports event. For China, they were a statement to the world that the nation had risen, that it was modern, powerful, and secure. But behind the lights and celebrations was fear. What if terrorists struck during the games? What if, on live global television, chaos erupted in Beijing? The snow leopards became the hidden guardians of the Olympics. In plain clothes, they blended with the crowds. On rooftops, snipers kept watch. Inside hotels, they shadowed athletes and foreign leaders. Special teams swept stadiums and subway lines again and again. The world saw fireworks. The world saw smiles. But behind it all, the snow leopards moved silently. Their mission was simple. Nothing could happen. And nothing did. For Beijing, the Olympics ended in triumph. For the snow leopards, it was proof they could carry the weight of China's national pride on their shoulders and succeed. After the Olympics, the snow leopards were sent to China's harshest battlefield, Xinjiang. Here, militants operated from the shadows, blending into local communities, striking without warning. For Beijing, Xinjiang was not just about security. It was about control. If unrest spread, it could fracture the nation. The snow leopards were sent to make sure that never happened. They carried out midnight raids in city blocks. They stormed apartments before bombs could be built. They tracked networks of suspects, moving faster than whispers could spread. Each mission was designed to be fast, precise, and decisive. Why deploy the snow leopards here? Because Beijing needed a force it could trust, one that would never hesitate and never question orders. Critics abroad raised questions about human rights, but to China's leaders, the priority was order. The snow leopards became the silent enforcers of that order, striking unseen, then vanishing without a trace. Soon, the snow leopards were sent beyond China's borders. They joined UN peacekeeping missions in Africa, guarding convoys, protecting camps, and patrolling dangerous towns. On the surface, this was humanitarian work, China helping the world. But behind the scenes, it was also a test. Could the Snow Leopards operate far from home, in strange lands with unfamiliar dangers? Every mission abroad was practice for something larger, proving that China's elite forces could survive, adapt, and fight anywhere. For Beijing, it was also a signal to rivals. China was no longer a regional power. Its forces were ready for global reach. The Snow Leopard's power comes not just from skill, but from tools. They train with advanced rifles, use night vision to turn darkness into daylight, and deploy drones to scan rooftops before raids. Helicopters drop them into cities. Encrypted radios keep their words hidden from enemies. Even their body armor and helmets are tailored for urban combat. But the greatest weapon isn't technology, it's secrecy. The world sees only fragments, a drill here, a staged clip there. Most of their missions remain hidden. That mystery makes them seem larger than life, more dangerous than anyone knows. Building the Snow Leopards is expensive. Billions are poured into hidden bases, training cities, and endless drills. Recruits burn out. Equipment is replaced, but Beijing keeps spending. Why? Because failure would cost more. A single terror attack could ruin China's image, hurt its economy, and embarrass its leaders on the world stage. To Beijing, the Snow Leopards are insurance. Costly, yes, but silence, the silence of attacks prevented and enemies crushed before they strike, is priceless. The Snow Leopards are not China's largest force. They are not its most famous. But they are one of its sharpest weapons. They were born from fear. Fear of terror. Fear of humiliation. Fear of falling behind. Yet from those fears, Beijing built something powerful. A modern elite strike force. They train in silence. They fight in shadows. They exist not just to protect, but to remind the world that China has its own hidden edge. And while their missions remain secret, one truth is clear. When Beijing decides to strike, the Snow Leopards will be ready.